Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we are joined once again by Sonny Puzikas, and I've been very interested in your story. We've talked about it before here on this channel, but for those that don't yet know, can you go into some of your background and what got you here today?
Okay, well, I'm Sonny Puzikas, legal immigrant from former Soviet Union, that's before the wall. Actually been in the States for close to 25 years. Former Soviet military, special operations, and live in Texas right now. Profession-wise, I teach good people how to do bad things to bad people, violence and things like that, and that's really about it.
Yeah, you talk to a lot of people about using defensive tools to, sustain their life. It's something that we should all be looking at, something we should all be proud of, because when it comes down to it, a lot of people have become incredibly dependent on government, completely dependent on other people to protect them. And you have been showing people not just how to, stop someone from running at you and attacking you, but you've been also teaching a lot about guns and how important it is to be able to have a gun. Can you go into the importance of self-defense?
Sure. I mean, the reality is this, no one, I think, if anyone would argue that we have a, call it, given from divinity, God-given right to life. If you argue that, we probably don't have nothing to talk about. If you agree that we have that right, defending that life is an integral part of having the right to life. And the reality is very simple. There are bad hombres, there are bad actors out there that will have tools. And accessibility to those tools, it's a separate issue. But even in countries with so-called strict gun control, where only government's supposed to have guns, or police forces, with enough cash, within 30 minutes, I will get you a full automatic rifle.
Well, and you have seen that for yourself, though, coming from Soviet Russia. Yes. Make it very clear, and if it's not already obvious, he's not a communist. But when it comes to that, I mean, you've witnessed this yourself. You've witnessed what it was like to live in a communist dictatorship. So coming from that and going to the United States, what do you think about those that are revising history, much like Stalin did, and are trying to say, well, the USSR was a great, civilization, great society. We need that again, and we need to ban guns and leave people dependent on the government.
Well, look, for those of you who think that by the virtue of being American you can do communism better than Russians, Chinese did, I have a red pill to offer. It's not going to work. The collectivism in that sense, especially tightly controlled and very much regulated collectivism, will never work. It's been tried. You can try it again. Cost will be great. Cost will be very unpleasant. Rebuild time will be very long. Simply don't go there. The thing about this is this, the individual is the ultimate minority, regardless of your skin color, your religion, your sexual persuasions, anything else like that. And any collective system, especially collective system, be it, National Socialism, like it was practiced in certain times in the mid-20th century, or communism, which was, attempted to implement, and people say, well, they didn't do it well enough, they didn't succeed. There are certain things that simply cannot succeed. You cannot grow an orange tree on ice. It's not going to work. So, happiness, prosperity, freedom, liberty, choice, they simply cannot flourish in certain systems. And social system as communism, it will simply not allow it to happen. Gradually, we are, I don't know. It looks strange. It's almost like I ran away from it, but it chased me here. And I see more and more implementations of, entitlement culture, victimhood currency, and all that being used to imply some kind of guilt, and it's done by a loud minority. It's not by majority, but silent majority, generally speaking, sits back. Media doubles and triples down on this, and it sounds to people get impression that majority of people think that way. It's not. So it's time to speak up.
Absolutely. And, something that we hear a lot is people claim, well, Soviet Russia wasn't real communism, wasn't real socialism. Same with Maoist China, same with Cuba. They say it's not real because, of course, they don't like the outcome of it and they don't want that to be their ideology. And to be fair, we also see that on the other side with people saying, well, that's not real capitalism implemented in this place and that place because, of course, capitalism truly isn't a political system. But let's look at that for a second. Considering the claim that that's not real socialism, so if that's only kind of socialism, it's led to millions of deaths and it's led to complete enslavement to a massive centralized system. If that's only kind of capitalism, it's led millions out of poverty and brought so many people to prosperity. I would like to see real capitalism if that's the case. God forbid we ever see real socialism if that was only kind of socialism or kind of communism. What do you think about this concept?
In Soviet Union, we really have not seen the communism. Only at the beginning they tried to, revisionism in the whole Marxism. Really, the Capital written by Karl Marx. I would highly suggest people that think communism may work, read that book. But you have to read it with objective understanding of what we're dealing with. Now, as a dogma, you know what? Levitation as a dogma sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's possible, but I would not try it standing on the roof of the 110th story building. China, in during the Mao Zedong, rule, they came as close as you can get to communism, implementing communism. I think it was 50 million dead. So yeah, like you said, if this was not quite right implemented, I guess if we reach 100 million dead, that would be like a proof, like a golden standard that we did it right. I would rather experiment with implementing true capitalism, which is truly free market, which is truly free individuals. You want to sell wheat, sell wheat. You want to buy wheat, buy wheat. You want to do this, do this. You have liberty to choose, but consequences are real for everything you do, say, don't do, or don't say. And the consequences are dictated by market, not by government.
What I find interesting is I see a lot of people in rock and roll music talking about how great communism is, yet you go to Soviet Russia and I don't know, did you see any rock and roll music being played in Soviet Russia? Was that not banned?
A lot of it was actually illegal. That's part of my capitalism background, was that I was doing business. I would get people that had relatives in the West and they would smuggle in the vinyls of Iron Maiden and Kiss and AC/DC, and because the way Kiss is written, the way S is in the Soviet Union, was explained that it's banned because they stands for SS, for they're fascists.
Yeah.
Kiss, fascists. The most popular song, "Lick It Up." Really, that's fascism.
Yeah. I've always been really interested, though, on in that story, though, is that people were using X-ray sheets to burn records on that to kind of give it out on the black market. So there was on the black market a bit of capitalism going on, but it was
we actually making copies on the compact cassettes. If you remember those things, you're probably young for compact cassettes, but okay, yeah. So we would make copies of like Kiss, The Destroyer, or Iron Maiden, the Number of the Beast, 1982, and so if the vinyl, the original vinyl copy, especially if it's printed in UK or US, that was more expensive, and if it's knockoff done somewhere in Venezuela or whatnot, it's less expensive. But we would make the compact cassette copies and sell them at let's say 10 rubles a piece. Versus 60 rubles for actual vinyl copy, and it was a great business.
Yeah, absolutely. So that might be a big message to, I think, the band Rage Against the Machine, who loves communism, but still sells their records and loves the profits, but wouldn't be able to do so well in Soviet Russia, except for maybe on the black market. But Sonny, we went a bit off track there, but I wanted to just get your views on just how important you went into how important self-defense is. How do you kind of show that to people? How do you portray that to people? How do you teach people about it?
There are two ways humans interact. Two and only two: convention or violence. You know what I mean? And this is one of those areas where people think that somehow through education, through enlightenment, through all the other things that any collective society has used before, that we're gonna get majority of population, everyone will find Jesus or everyone will find decency. It's not gonna happen. Okay, 95% of population, maybe through education, through incredible effort, through some kind of a almost divine intervention, will see the light of how to live, adhering to the NAP principles and things like that. 5% of people will see that as a target-rich environment and opportunity. It's as simple as that. Generally speaking, the 5% will be at least, if not at the top, they will be working for people at the top. Whom we're talking about? These are the, call it whatever you want, the New World Order folks, the elites that go meet in, mountains of Switzerland and so forth. Without being able to protect what's yours, without being able to protect not just, your physical well-being, your family, your loved ones, your private property, you don't have freedom. It's as simple as that. You have freedom that's been given to you. You have no way to protect what is actually yours. So you think you have freedom that's protected by something that's been written by the same people that will take it away at the snap of a finger when it fits their agenda. I think it's one of the greatest missing links in individual freedom and liberty is understanding that violence and non-aggression principle are two different things. And without being able to protect yourself, without having tools to protect, skills, thinking about it, preparing, you are at the mercy of the wolves. And it's as simple as that.
And just having seen some of his stuff on even television and etc., I mean, I wouldn't want to go up against this guy in a fist fight or a gunfight, so I'm glad you're on our side. Your wife, Megan Miller, does a lot of tutorial kind of videos as well. Can you just tell people where they can find you and your wife?
Yes. Well, my future wife. We're about to get married in September. Yes. Megan Miller has social media channels. Just look up Anarkya, Anarkya, like anarchy. Anarkya Miller, both on Facebook and YouTube. As far as me, I'm easy. Sonny Puzikas, Puzikas. Also, you can look up on all kinds of social media, plus my website, also sonnypuzikas.com. Some things are controversial that both of us say. She's more into social issues and I will say directly anti-feminism. And
anti-feminism is real feminism in the end, anyway.
Anti-feminism is humanism. That's what it is. You know what I mean? It's just understanding that our differences are to be celebrated, not to try to be erased artificially. And what I do is violence. What I do is teach people about violence, teach to understand the chaos of it, teach for them to learn certain degree of comfort in it, not to love it. No one can love it. No sane person can love violence, but to understand it for what it is. And God forbid if it comes your way, you can function and prevail. And to me, that's defending life.
Exactly. Be independent, folks. Don't be dependent on some kind of centralized entity. Rule yourself and be able to actually defend yourself in the inevitable case that all of these empires eventually collapse, and you're going to need to understand how to defend yourself and your family. There's nothing more important than the ability to keep your family safe in this day and age especially.
And when they collapse, they don't like to go out all on their own. When they collapse, they take a lot with them.
Goes out with a big bang. Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you very much for talking with us.
All right, thanks, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Like what you see here, WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so overwhelmingly demonetized and censored by YouTube as the ADL comes in and flags all of our content as hate speech. Also, check our Bitcoin address in the description as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also find us at steemit.com at Josh Sigurdson, the future of social media, where you get paid in the upvote of your post in Steem, the cryptocurrency. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.